Welcome to Val's Sweet Kitchen. Subscriber Nate asked for a peanut butter pie, and mine has a light, fluffy texture with a deep taste. And it's got a kick in the end too. So preheat your oven to 350 degrees and let's go have some fun. We're going to start with the crust. And the crust is 32 peanut butter cookies or 462 grams of peanut butter cookies chopped up. And you want to use your food processor for this one because we want fine grains in our crust. And then you want to melt and cool 1 stick of butter and add it to the crumbs, along with 2 tablespoons of sugar. And mix that all together. And then just pour it into your dish. I'm using a tart pan with a removable bottom. It'll make it easier to get out when it's ready. Ooh, careful of these little things. And then gradually spread it around and tamp it up the sides. I use a measuring cup. You can also use a flat bottom cup. Nice and even. You want your whole crust to be nice and evenly distributed around the edges. And then place it on a warmed cookie sheet and bake for 12 to 15 minutes or until it turns a nice golden brown around the top edges. And while your tart shell's cooling, let's get to work on the filling. And this is really fun. You take 3 eggs and separate them, yolks and whites. And we're going to use the whites later, so you want to make sure you don't get any yolk in with your white. That's how I separate them outside the bowl. And then to your egg yolks, add 3/4 of a cup of sugar and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. I know it's a big bowl, but trust me on this, we're going to fill it. Whisk all of this until the egg whites are a light yellow. It'll take about 5 minutes. If it's too stiff, you can add a little bit of milk from the 1 cup that we're going to use later. And heat the milk just until it starts to steam and bubble around the edges. And then we're going to pour in just a little bit at a time. And this is called tempering. I put a pot holder underneath my bowl to help keep it in place. But this is going to gradually bring up the temperature of the egg yolks without cooking them and making scrambled eggs. And then pour it back into your saucepan and whisk that until it's nice and stiff. And while you're heating this up, add 1 cup of peanut butter, a nice generous cup. Oh, look at that. And this is where you add a kick to your peanut butter pie. Either 4 tablespoons of rum or 2 tablespoons of rum extract. And you want to whisk this on medium heat until it's nice and thick. And that'll take 5 or 6 minutes. And you want to pour it back into your bowl and let it cool. Then into a 1/4 cup of water, add 1 packet of gelatin. And let that bloom for 5 minutes. And you want to pay attention to your unflavored gelatin as it blooms, because otherwise if you let it go too long, it'll make this big lump, solid lump, and you have to start over. So just whisk that right in here. It's nice and smooth. Set this aside, and we're going to make a meringue to fold into it. In a small saucepan, add 1 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup of water. Give that a stir just to blend it, and then you're going to bring it up to 236 to 240 degrees. And to your egg whites, add a dash of salt, kosher salt, doesn't have the iodine, and whisk those to stiff peaks while your sugar is heating up. Careful not to overbeat your egg whites or they'll get dry and start to separate. All right, here we go. Turn it to high. The important part here is to carefully drizzle in the sugar syrup between the bowl and the whisk. Don't let it hit the bowl or the whisk. Just drizzle it into that trowel. And you know you've got stiff peaks when it stands up. See, that's the mountain peak right there. And we're gonna fold this right on in. I love meringue. I find a balloon whisk works really well. It folds it in without deflating everything. More efficient. And then for the final addition, whip up a 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream with 2 tablespoons of sugar and fold that in too. Just pour it right on into your cooled shell all the way up to the brim. Depending upon how well your eggs whipped up and your whipped cream, you might have some left over. Just go ahead and pour them into some ramekins, and I call that the chef's treat. And then chill this for 4 hours in the refrigerator. I hope you had fun today. If you did, give it a like, thumbs up, leave a comment too, and subscribe to my channel, boop that bell. Let me know what you want to make next.